Okay, welcome back to the Success Portal. Me, Dr. Franklin, life strategist. Today I will be talking to you about there is always room at the top. There is definitely room at the top. And the inspiration behind this discussion or this talk that I have for you today came about when I was speaking to one of my friends, and I was telling him that there is always room for excellence in every single industry on this earth. There is something that makes human beings gravitate to excellence, and it doesn't actually matter whether this new excellent product or this new excellent person has only arisen overnight, so-called overnight, or over a long period of time. But people always want to be associated with success. They want to be associated with excellence. They want to be associated with something different, something unique, something innovative. And the purpose of this video is to encourage people who are starting up. Maybe it might be in business, it might be in your academic career, it might be in your spiritual path, and you might think that many people have gone ahead of you and there's no role for you, or there's no part for you in this world. And you might feel that your contribution on this earth is very small or is almost insignificant, and that might be a source of discouragement, and you might feel that there's actually no purpose or no point actually getting started, because many people have gone ahead of you and they've already taken over the market. But I want to say to you today, there is always room at the top, and to get to the top you have to be excellent, you have to be unique, you have to be innovative. And I want to tell you that in the 9 billion people who are on the face of this earth, you are the only person that carries your particular DNA, and that already makes you unique, and you already stand apart from everybody else. All you have to do is to begin to excavate your talents and begin to show them to the world. There is always room for something unique, something different, and something excellent. And the analogy that I'd like to use today is from the aviation industry, which I really like and I'm interested in. Those of you who've been following me know I love the aviation industry. I like to travel. And I'll also use an analogy from the food industry. So I've got two industries that we have to focus on. And the example that I would like to start with is that of different airlines in the aviation industry. And I just want to say that I am not here to advocate for a particular airline industry. I don't work for them. They're not giving me any money. They're not sponsoring this video. And I'm not encouraging you to opt for them in any way. So you must make your own decisions. These are just my own observations, and I'm trying to use those observations to assist in explaining the message that I'm bringing across. So I did a little bit of background reading, and I compared a few airline industries, and I'm not going to talk about all of them, but one interesting one is British Airways, and it's an industry, it's an airline that I've seen for many years, even growing up. I found out that British Airways was established under a different name almost like 104 years ago. That was in about 1919. So it's been around for quite some time. It has a huge fleet and it's got a lot of employees. And then I looked up also Emirates, which is one of my favorite, may not be your favorite. It's one of the popular Gulf airlines, and that are making waves across the world because of their sheer excellence and also the quality of service that you get from there. So Emirates has got a smaller fleet compared to British Airways, but when you look at the net income of Emirates, it's way more than British Airways. It's almost like
100 times more, and I serve to be corrected. But the source that I looked at talked about British Airways having about almost 2 million in terms of net income, but Emirates had almost like just over $1 billion in terms of net income. And they actually had a smaller fleet as compared to British Airways, and they had less destinations than British Airways, which speaks a lot to what Emirates is actually doing. They are actually more profitable than British Airways. And having used Emirates, I found that from the time that you actually enter the plane, you, especially if you are flying on the business class or the first class, the air hostesses and hosts actually go out of their way to try and give you that personal touch. They actually try to pronounce your name, and I was surprised. And my surname is not so easy to pronounce. I was surprised for someone who is coming from the Scandinavian countries to actually be able to pronounce my name. I was so shocked that they did that, and they actually wanted to know my name. They actually wanted to know me as a person, which was amazing. And sometimes throughout the flight, they would actually address me by name, which makes it so special. And they were so sensitive to what I needed. They would keep coming around, offering me drinks. It was just excellent. And I mean, people who have flown with using Emirates, you know how the whole Emirates experience is. The moment you set foot on the plane, it's just on another level. And their cabins are absolutely amazing. It's not to say British Airways is not great, but when I look at the story of Emirates, where it came from, because I started studying how Emirates came up and the whole Dubai concept and model, how it came up, how the government of United Arab Emirates were intentional about pursuing success, and one of the ways they would pursue success and excellence was through their airlines. And I'm happy to say that they have achieved that to a great extent. And another airline as well that they have in the United Arab Emirates is Etihad, which is also amazing as well, giving customers the opportunity to be in the first class customers to be in a kind of a suite which looks like an apartment, which is absolutely amazing. Being in an apartment 40,000 feet above sea level is absolutely amazing. And this is what makes people begin to book more on these airlines. It's because of the sheer excellence that they continue to strive for. And that's what I'm speaking to you about, that there's always room for excellence. British Airways was started in 1919, but Emirates was only started just about in the 20th century, like late on in the 20th century, 1987 thereabouts. In fact, 1985 thereabouts. So it's only like 38 years old, and the other airline has been around for almost 100 years, but the quality of service is different. And though the other airline is younger than the other one, so to speak, people tend to gravitate to the other one because of excellence. So it doesn't matter how young you are, it doesn't matter whether you're a new competitor, it doesn't matter you've only come into the field right now. If you are excellent, people will come to you, people will consult you, people will gravitate towards you, the world will want to know about you. One of my mentors says that when you are pursuing excellence and you are excellent and you go all the way, even if you are in a place like Timbuktu, and I'm sorry to use that example, sorry to the people in Timbuktu, but yeah, even if you are in a place called Timbuktu, some of you don't know where it is, it's in North Africa, people will make roads, people will create paths to get to you. So there is always room for excellence. Then the other example that I want to use is that of the food industry. And I think this one is quite interesting, and many of you will probably be able to identify with it. So people love burgers, eating burgers, and the three companies that I looked at were McDonald's, I looked at Burger King, and there's another one called A&W. So people living in Africa, you may not know about A&W, but you will be able to appreciate McDonald's. So McDonald's has been around for many, many years, and many of you know the story that it was started by the McDonald's, but later on it was bought by Ray Kroc, and it has continued to expand. It's found in so many countries all over the world. In fact, it's one of the largest fast food chain stores that are on the face of the earth, and it was established quite some time ago. And later on, a company called Burger King came up. At this time, McDonald's was already established. McDonald's was already running, but Burger King came up as well, and it was established by a man called two men, in fact, Keith Kramer and Matthew Burns. Later on, it was then bought by David Edgerton and James McLarmon. And it has continued to grow and grow by the years. And why would, for example, someone want to establish a burger food chain store when there is another one available, like McDonald's? The point is, there is always room for excellence. If you are excellent, you will be able to compete with established brands, and people will come to your company. People will buy your product if they find that it's unique, it's different, it's innovative, and it's well advertised. They will come onto the party. Another example is Kentucky Fried Chicken, and I've talked about the success story of Kentucky Fried Chicken before in my other videos. It's one that always moves us because the story of Harlan Sanders is absolutely amazing. How he never agreed to give up. He did not want to give up. He continued to push against all odds. He was hitting a lot of brick walls. People did not initially like his product, but he believed in his product. He knew that what he had produced was unique, what he had produced was different, what he had produced was excellent. And the only thing that he had to work on was selling his product, was marketing himself. And it was a matter of time, and he would have a buy-in. And he started his company at the time of a major depression, where things were looking so bad, but he believed in the product that he was bringing forth. You know that Colonel Sanders, or Harlan Sanders, had a lot of rejections. People rejected him left, right, and center. But eventually, he got his breakthrough. And when he got his breakthrough, the franchise grew. It grew so much that he had to actually sell it to other people because he was old. He couldn't keep up with the momentum that the business was picking up, picking up. And then what happened when he died in 1980, there were about 6,000 outlets. In fact, over 6,000 outlets in 30 countries. And this is something that he started in his kitchen in Kentucky. And nobody knew about it, but he believed in himself. He believed in his product. He was convinced about what he was bringing forth. And at the end of the day, what he produced became an international product. Another interesting thing that I found while studying about his life is that when he sold his company, as part of the sale, he made a deal that he would be involved in quality control, and also he would be a trademark of the company. That's why when you visit KFC, you always see the famous face of Colonel Sanders. Why? Because that was part of the deal that he made, because he didn't want his legacy to die. And I want to tell you that up to today, his legacy has lived on. KFC is even found in the most remote places, in rural areas. I have seen it in rural areas in South Africa. Colonel Sanders has made an impact right there. But in 1987, in Johannesburg, there was another chicken franchise which was started by the name of Nando's. And many of you who are watching me in South Africa would identify a lot with Nando's, because we love Nando's, and many South Africans love Nando's. I like Nando's, and I'm saying also, I'm not telling you to go and buy it, but it's so unique. And why would someone think of starting a chicken food chain restaurant, given that shops like, or restaurants like, fast food restaurants like KFC that are more established, that were international, that had a long track record, were in the country? What would make someone want to establish something like this? And the success story behind Nando's is that Nando's is also markets chicken, fried chicken, and not fried chicken, grilled chicken. That's the difference, grilled chicken. But the difference from KFC is that customers can actually choose the flavor that they desire. Whereas with KFC, the flavor is a secret flavor, and people don't know the recipe. It's a secret recipe, and the chicken almost tastes the same, regardless. It depends on what portion you choose and how many pieces you buy, but the chicken tastes the same. But with Nando's, it's different, because different flavors. There's Mozambican tomato, there's mild, there is lemon and herb, there's hot. So customers can actually choose different flavors, and that actually made Nando's to be unique. Another part of it is that the chicken in Nando's is grilled and is prepared in front of the clients. So that is something that was unique. Whereas with KFC, most of the preparation is behind closed doors. So that was a unique experience that Nando's gave to people. And Nando's began to grow from strength to strength, and it's now a global product. It was initially started by two men. The name of one of the gentlemen is Ferdinand Duarte and Robert Brozin. And the shop Nando's was named after Fernando Duarte's son, Nando. So now it's called Nando's, just in case you didn't know. And then it was later sold. So the present owners, I think, are the Einthovens. They're the ones that own the company right now. But from the time that they bought it from these two founders, it has continued to grow from strength to strength. And I have had Nando's when I was in Singapore. I've had Nando's when I was in Canada, and I was really inspired that something that came from Africa managed to traverse so many borders and is now international, and is making an impact, and is creating jobs globally and changing lives. That is indeed a testimony that there is always room for something that is excellent. There's always room for something that is innovative, something that is different, something that is unique. As I end off this video, I want to say that there is definitely room for you. Why? As I said, I want to echo the fact that you are unique, you are different, and you can be excellent in what you do. And because of those things, there is definitely room for you. Thank you for watching this video. This is Dr. Franklin, life strategist on the Success Portal. Till we meet again, goodbye.